I'm Lynn Faulds Wood, and I'm lucky to be here. Lucky because I survived advanced bowel cancer. Here's my story.
I'd like to talk to you about the thousands of people who've lost money to your husband's companies.
20 years ago, I was the presenter of the BBC's Watchdog programme, and I thought I knew a lot about a lot of things, but I'd never even heard of bowel cancer. I just had one symptom. I just saw a little tiny bit of bleeding when I looked down the loo one day, sort of wrapped round my poo. I just happened to be going to see my GPs, my then GPs, for a cervical smear, and I mentioned what I'd seen, and the doctor said, "Oh, it's nothing to worry about at your age, it's probably piles." He thought it was from my baby that I'd had 2 years before, but I'd had a caesarean, and they don't give you piles. The GP did put on a glove and gave me an examination called a PR, a perirectum examination, but then he found nothing and he sent me on my way saying I was fine. The bleeding continued. Just every couple of weeks I'd spot it, quite simple, but then it began to get slightly more noticeable. So 5 months later, I arranged to go and see a different GP. I'll never know why, but I did. Perhaps it was being the presenter of the Watchdog programme and not liking mysteries, I arranged to see the wisest GP at the practice. I wasn't worried, and he thought it was nothing much to worry about either. But I said I'd like to see a specialist and get whatever it was sorted. When I finally got to see the specialist months later, he wasn't worried either. He did an examination with a proctoscope, which is a kind of rigid stick that looks inside your rectum. And then, because he found nothing, he said that he would send me for a barium enema. The one I had 20 years ago, they fill your colon with a white, thick liquid, and then they take x-rays of your insides while you're lying flat on a slab. They send you stuff to clear out your insides. Mine was called Picolax then. The day before I finally had my barium enema, I had to eat only white rice and yoghurt and drink a lot of this Picolax, and the memory of all that lives with me still. My son was now 3 years old, and I'd no idea that my life could be seriously in danger. But the staff operating the X-ray equipment, they knew, because they'd seen a large cancer shaped like an apple core on my colon, and they knew that the woman from Watchdog was seriously in trouble. When I went to see the specialist, he held up the X-ray and told me that I had bowel cancer, a disease I'd never even heard of then, and I needed a major operation. I don't remember the drive home, but I can remember looking in the window and seeing my husband and son playing happily together, and I was about to shatter their lives. The days before the operation were miserable. I didn't know anyone had ever had bowel cancer. 20 years ago, there was no good information for patients. And with a year's delay almost before I was diagnosed, I had no idea what my future would be. Luckily, I had an excellent surgeon. The scary part is it was just luck. And he told me he'd removed all the cancer. It was a success. But I had advanced cancer. I was a stage C, and when I looked up my chance of survival 20 years ago, they were 34% on paper, and the hairs in the back of my neck just stood up in fear. Today I'm cured, and I want to help as many people as possible to be as lucky as I've been. I've learned that people need to get an excellent surgeon, a good surgeon who can prove they're good, that they should take notice of subtle symptoms like mine. If there's no reason for your bleeding, ask to be investigated. And I've learned it's great to be alive, and it shouldn't just be luck, it should be good judgment. Today I'm not worried about the cancer coming back, and I'm looking forward to another 50 years of healthy living.